it's World Pizza Day. So I couldn't let World Pizza Day go without actually making some pizza dough with you. Pizza is actually a really good meal option for many reasons, not least because it's very quick and easy. It's great also for taking to a party, barbecue, taking on a picnic, lunch boxes. You can use pizza in so many different ways. It's also really good for using up leftovers, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But first of all, let's get to make our pizza dough. Pizza dough is made with a strong bread flour, but I actually like to use a specific pizza and focaccia flour that I get from All About Bread in Greenwood. There are many recipes on Cookie Dough for different kinds of pizza, but because it's made very much like bread, I'm actually just going to use my sort of bread making method, which is a sort of manual one. With the pizza and focaccia flour, we're just going to make a 350 gram pizza base. That will make one large thin crust pizza. It says on the packet how much water we need, so I tend to go off the flour packet rather than off the Cookie Dough recipe. And the amount of water can vary depending upon the humidity and the particular type of flour. Let's just bring up the scales. We need 210 grams or mils of water. So I'm actually just going to put a little bit of olive oil in, which is a fairly standard thing to do when you're making pizza. Maybe just 10 grams or so. And then we'll use the water to make up the rest of the liquid volume. So we'll take this up to 210. These scales are in 1 gram increments, so it's nice to have that degree of accuracy. And that's fairly important with baking, particularly with sort of when you've got a flour to water ratio, you want to have pretty accurate measurement. So I'm just going to warm that up slightly because yeast is a living organism. It works best at body temperature at about 37 to 40 degrees. So I'm just going to stir that water for 30 seconds. So the pizza and focaccia flour mix, as well as having obviously strong baker's flour in there, it's got some semolina in there as well. And semolina is a traditional addition to pizza flour. Extra crunch, so good to put on the pizza stone as it sort of helps it not to stick or to slide off your pizza stone. So you can add a little bit of extra semolina in your pizza tray or on your stone. So that's just warmed up the water. We now want 3/4 of a teaspoon of yeast. And this is just the instant yeast. It's instant dried yeast. And I'm just going to give that another 30 seconds stir just to incorporate it into the liquid. I'm not actually going to put the temperature on here because it's already warmed the liquid. So pizzas come in all shapes and sizes. You can make little tiny ones as individual ones for kids. You can make it an oblong one, make it easy to cut into squares. You can have circles of various sizes. You can have a big family one. But you can also make pizza in different forms as well. So you can do the calzone where you fold the dough over the filling. You can make pizza pockets, which are small calzone. Those are really good for lunch boxes. And you can make a pizza roll or even pizza scrolls. So there's lots of forms of the basic pizza. Right, we're just going to bring the scales back up. We've got our warmed liquid with the yeast in, and we're just going to add the flour. So we're going to add 350 grams of the flour. 349, pretty close. And we're just going to mix this. So let's just cancel the scale again. We're just going to mix it before we knead. So only 6, 7, 8 seconds, and we just got to about speed 4. So this is just mixing the flour and the liquid together. So then we've just got the flour and the liquid mixed together. And now we're just going to knead, so we'll swipe across, bring up the dough mode, a couple of minutes, and just set it kneading. So when it kneads, the blades go one way, I'm not sure it's clockwise or anti-clockwise, 3 times, and then they're reversed. It's good to just have a look through the lid and just check that the dough is not too dry or too wet, because you can at this stage just adjust a little bit with adding a little bit more water or a little bit more flour. So as it kneads, it should rest and sink a little bit in between each rotation of the blades. That looks pretty good. So whilst it's kneading, let's talk a little bit about sauces. So the traditional pizza sauce is a tomato-based sauce, but there are many other sauces that you can put on to ring the changes. You can even use up leftovers to make a pizza sauce. For example, if you've got some bolognese or some chili left, you can just blitz it in the Thermomix and use that as a base. You can use some white sauces, like carbonara sauce or bechamel, cheese bechamel. You can use things like a satay sauce or a barbecue sauce. You can use pesto. You can use some curry sauce, you know, if you've got a bit of leftover curry. And you can also just make a basic pizza garlic bread by just putting a bit of garlic paste on the top. You can make pizza bianca, which is a rosemary and garlic pizza. So really, when you start to think about how you can vary the sort of pizza you're making, well, the options are unlimited, really. This pizza dough is actually using yeast. It's a leavened dough, but you can actually make pizzas with other bases as well. So there's things like a cauliflower base, which is a vegetarian. You can also even use things like a wrap or a tortilla, even slices of bread sometimes. You know, you really have lots and lots of options for creating all sorts of different kinds of pizza. Okay, so the dough there is all kneaded. I'm just going to move my Thermomix back a little bit, my Thermomat. Pizza bases are also really good to have frozen in the freezer ready to go as well. And that's possibly what I'm going to do with these pizza bases today, because we have other plans for dinner. I just didn't want to miss the opportunity to make pizza dough. Just put a little bit of flour on the Thermomat. I'm just going to bring that dough together into a ball or any kind of shape, really. So I've got my pizza dough here, and I'm just going to wrap it in the mat and allow that to rise. So you always allow your pizza dough to rise initially. Once that's risen, doubled in size, then you can take it out, roll it into the shape that you want, use it to make pizza pockets or whatever. Or you can just press it out with your fingers. You don't actually have to let it rise a second time. So once you've shaped it, you can just put on your sauce, throw on some cheese, all sorts of different cheeses you can use, some veggies or some other toppings, and sprinkle a bit of extra cheese if you want, some herbs, some fresh basil, drizzle of oil, all sorts of things that you can do, a bit of truffle oil. One really easy pizza alternative to make is called Flammkuchen, and that is actually an unleavened base, so that's just made with flour and water and some oil, I think. and then you're just going to use sour cream or creme fraiche, some chopped spring onions and some crispy fried bacon. Can you smell it already? So that's a really quick, that's a less than 30-minute pizza meal for you at home. All right, well, have a great World Pizza Day. And yeah, if you want, oh, actually I was going to say, I've got a cheat sheet of some pizza recipes, and I've also got a list of 20 alternative pizza sauces as well. So if you'd like a copy of that, just put it in the comments of the video once it's up, and I'll get that to you. Right, have a great day. Take care. Talk to you soon.